Hello. Do you have debt? Are you a Gen Z? How many credit cards do you have? Are you depending on credit cards to sponsor your lifestyle? Do you consider yourself to be a flashy girl, a high value boy? Is that your lifestyle dependent on credit cards? Let's talk about it. We are focusing more on Gen Zs accumulating a lot of credit card debts because they're trying to live a certain kind of lifestyle, buy gadgets that they themselves cannot afford. Let's talk about it.
I started 2025 off with $16,000 worth of credit card debt, and that has been ridiculously humbling and equally parts embarrassing to share on the internet and to let TikTok rip me apart for having that much debt and why I had that much debt and my age and my circumstances and all the things. However, debt is very common. Debt, not that I want debt to be like normal, but I think it should be more normal to talk about it. There's a lot of shame around debt, and there's a reason that a lot of people feel very burdened and very alone with their debt. It's because people don't really talk about it. So I've been sharing my debt journey and my debt payoff journey, and since January I have been able to pay off majority of my debt. I have like around $2,000 left on a balance transfer card that has 0% interest. So this is your sign that if you are in debt and you need to start paying it off and you need to get serious, it takes one day, one decision to decide that you want to actually start paying off your debt, and that I'm here to support you every step of the way.
Do you think talking about your debt makes it easier for you to pay off? Maybe. But I think trying to emulate people paying off their debt makes it easier for you to pay off. Towards the end of this video, we're going to hear from people that already mapped out plans on how they paid off their debt or on how they plan to pay off their debt. But before then, let's hear from the Gen Zs how much they owe and why they owe what they owe.
72% of people are still in credit card debt, but here's what I have to say about it. Let's talk about it. Though there are still 72% of people who are still in bad, terrible, horrible credit card debt, there are actually about 42% of people who are trying to aggressively attack this credit card debt, put all they can into becoming credit card debt free. But the reality is still that most people who ended up in credit card debt were just not taught about how to go into credit cards healthy in the first place. Instead, they were coached and preached at about how terrible it is to have credit cards, about how to go to college and to never ever stop by one of those booths and sign up for a credit card. And so then what happens is when life starts to whoop that butt, so much so that when the time came when they did run into financial hardships, never had any healthy measures to being able to get by during those rough financial seasons. Does that make sense? If more people had been taught about how to actually go and get a credit card, how to use it healthy, how to actually have a credit card when a credit card isn't needed. Most of the people that ended up in credit card debt only got a credit card because they waited to get their first credit card when they actually needed the credit card. Would you agree? They didn't get introduced to their first loan until their car started messing up and they had no other option because they didn't have any additional cash on hand. They didn't get introduced to these terrible things that are supposed to be things that actually give us leverage in the game until their financial situation was already terrible. Just spent more time coaching, guiding, and forcing people to get a head start on learning things the right way. Maybe people wouldn't be struggling to get out of debt that they were never supposed to be in the first place.
I owe $30,000 worth of credit card debt at 24 years old. This is my credit card debt breakdown. Currently have 5 different credit card accounts that I need to pay off. The first one, which is the least amount of debt that I owe, would be my Freedom Unlimited card, in which I owe $1,649.99. My Capital One card, I owe $4,388.83. On my Best Buy account, I owe $6,210. On my Chase credit card, I owe $6,856. Last but not least, Discover. This is the one that I owe the most on, and it is $10,952. That brings me to a total of $30,057.68. I've looked into filing for bankruptcy, but I don't think that that's the best route for me at this time. I think that I won't qualify for Chapter 7, and I also don't think that Chapter 13 would be the best option either. There's no other option for me other than just finding other ways to make money and paying this off as soon as possible. I'm turning 25 soon, and my goal is to become debt-free and just be more smart with my money. honestly just never get myself back into this position.
To be honest with you, that is a lot. What did she do with the money? And this is what people are asking in the comment section. How did you find yourself at this point? Let's take some comments. Tell us how you got to this point. I have 400 and I'm crying. Girl, I was crying for 3K in debt. Good luck. Me crying with my $600 debt. Crying with my 6K. What you need 30 bands for? Me with 8K debt. I was stressing over owing $280. This makes me feel better. Good luck. You could try and get a personal loan to pay off those cards. How did she get to that point? She said she's 24. It's all about the lifestyle, if you ask me. It might not generally apply to everybody, but what really leads to this amount of debt is usually young adults buying things they don't need, buying gadgets. Some people change their iPhone every time they have a new iPhone. Some people upgrade their cars every time a new version comes. When you know in reality, if they take off that credit card, you wouldn't be able to afford it, even if you have a job. So why are you trying to live above your means? This is what usually leads to having so much credit card debt. Aside emergency, health issues and all that, buying things you don't need is one of the reasons people accumulate so much credit card debt. Let's hear more from the Gen Zs.
I'm $89,000 in credit card debt, and I'm here to break down my cards to tell you how much I have on each card and what my payment is each month on each card. I'm going to start with the smallest card and work my way up to the highest card. I do have 11 credit cards, so we're going to be here for a minute. The longer that you watch, the higher my payment is. So do your girl a favor and watch to the end. My first card is our Carter's credit card. It has $199 on it. My monthly payment is $30. My second card, Old Navy. It has $362 on it and a monthly payment of $30. Third card is our Citi card. It has $1,742 on it and the monthly payment is $85. Fourth is Shields. It has $3,057 on it and our monthly payment is $95. Next up is our Discover card. That has $4,969 on it and our payment is $135 a month. Next up is Chase. That has $5,615 on it and our payment is $153 a month. Next up is my personal Military Star card that has $7,860 on it. The payment is $170 a month. Next up is my husband's Military Star card that has $8,095 on it and the payment is $175. These are the fun ones. Next up is our Visa Platinum. That has $11,503 on it and our monthly payment is $285. Our Visa Cash Rewards card, that has a total of $20,371 on it and our monthly payment is $520. Last but not least is our American Express that has $25,371 on it and our payment is $620 a month. The total on these cards a little bit more than I said on a previous video because they have been hit with some interest since then. So our total is $89,203 and that brings our total monthly payments up to $2,298. Follow along and watch me pay these off over the next few years.
This might just be a privileged question, but how are you 25 years old racking up $40,000 in credit card debt? Do you not see how absolutely diabolical that is? It really is not that hard to just simply not spend the money that you don't have. Obviously, if you're using it for things that are important like gas and groceries and rent, that's a completely different story, but you're literally just racking up and spending this money on whatever you want, and now you're in thousands and thousands and thousands of debt that you're gonna be in for the rest of your life. And trust me, I know what it's like to struggle. It's not like I've never struggled financially before, but once you're about to hit your limit on the credit card, that's usually when you say, okay, I need to chill out and stop spending my money on whatever the fuck I want and only spend it on things that I need. That's just common sense, I fear. and hot take, but I literally don't feel bad for these people at all.
Let's see how people are reacting to what she said in the comment section. Obviously, she's making a whole lot of sense. Why would you be racking up that amount at that age when you're not using the money for emergency, when you're not using the money for something more significant? I'm not saying people's stuff or people's wants and needs are not significant or not meaningful, but you can prioritize. Buying a phone when you have another phone doesn't make sense. Upgrading your laptop when the old one you have has not gotten bad makes no sense. Upgrading your car when your car is functional makes no sense. Traveling, going for holiday 3 times a year when you can just do one, that is what you can afford, makes no sense. Some people are just keeping up with the Joneses. Some of the Gen Zs just want to show off. You come on Instagram, you see influencers living their life, their lavish life, and you want to be like them. Do you know who is bankrolling them? Let's see how people are reacting to this in the comment section. It's an addiction issue, I think. I'm a former financial counselor for a credit unit, and the people I see with the heaviest debts are unable to say no or delay gratification. They all want is right now. It depends. People that rack up 40k on nonsense baffle me, but sometimes you get back to back big medical bills and repairs. It can rack up quick. We can actually excuse this because sometimes life happens and you need that big amount of money to solve that problem. We can excuse this. We're talking about young adults, Gen Zs that have no family problem. All they have to think and do is get money to feed themselves, think about themselves at that point. I don't even get how these people get those credit limits. I'm almost 30, pretty fine credit, but at most get approved for 1k. When I see these videos, I'm blown away. What bank would even approve those amounts? The most any bank has offered for a credit card is 5k, and I have good credit when I'm asked. It's called living above your means. That's basically what it is. Wanting to get something you obviously cannot afford. I saw a video of a girl my age in my situation living with parents, but she's got 25k debt, and I'm over here suffocating. I couldn't imagine. Oh my god. So tell me what a 25 years old girl living with her parents is doing with 25k credit debt. If her parents are feeding her, which I don't really know her living condition, what exactly is she doing with this if she's not paying medical bills or doing something big? Or if you get what I'm trying to say. I won't be shocked if I'm being told that she's using it for fashion, to buy new clothes, buy shoes, bags, makeup. Best advice I got for a credit card is use it as if it is a debit card. If you don't have the money, don't spend it. That's it.
I've paid off over $4,000 in credit card debt in the past 3 months. And my boyfriend looked at me and was like, well, what the did you even buy? Like, to be having all this debt, like, what did you even buy? And I didn't even have a response. Like, I literally was sitting there racking my brain, like, what did I actually spend $4,000, over $4,000? What did I actually spend over $4,000 on? And it's just like, the fact that nothing even jumps out to me tells me that I didn't need to be buying any of those things in the first place. So if you're in a position right now where you're buying shit just for like the moment of like, what is that called? Like the instant gratification. If you're just buying shit for the sake of buying shit, when you're in debt a couple months from now and you don't even remember what it is you bought because it was that insignificant and it didn't affect your life, you're really going to feel like an idiot. So I don't know who needs to hear this. Just stop with the buying, because a few months from now, you're not even going to remember why the you're even in debt.
Stupid. Or is it slow? Maybe it's useless. But there's a cuter word for it. I know.
I thought it would be funny to show y'all how much debt I've racked up since getting fired in September and being unemployed for the last 9 months. It's pretty bad. I only have 3 cards and I've maxed out majority of them. So here's one credit card. Here's my second, which is maxed out and actually over, interestingly enough. Same for this one. Yep. That's me. Meaning that's a whopping $11,632.98. By the way, I'm 23. So there's that.
Does it even make sense for you to use a credit card when you don't have a job? How do you intend paying for it? It's not bad enough that you have no job and then you're adding credit card to it, credit card debt to it. You have no job, no money, and then you're owing someone. How do you sleep at night? I'm not here trying to judge anyone, trying to say, oh, she has no job is her fault. Of course, we know how the job market is right now. It's not easy to find a job, but believe me, I don't think the best decision is to max out your credit card because you want to live a certain lifestyle. I don't know her full story. I don't know her living condition, but whatever it is, I don't think using a credit card when you don't have any money is the best way to go. This is my own personal opinion. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section.
I recently posted about the fact I'm 26 years old and I'm in $95,487.73 worth of debt, and I want to talk about it. Up until 24 hours ago, I did not know that was actually the total of all of my debt, credit cards, and student loans. That number also does not include my auto loan, and if we are adding in my auto loan, the total number is $110,938.83. Since totaling up all of my debt, I don't think I've actually gotten one good breath of oxygen in the last 24 hours. I feel like there is an elephant sitting on my chest, and I don't think I can sit still because all I keep repeating is $95,487.73. All of this debt was racked up through decisions I made between the ages of 18 and 26. My first associate's degree I got from a community college and I didn't have to pay for because of the Pell Grant, but I decided to go to a university and got my bachelor's degree, which is where I really started to rack up the debt. Then in the last 2 years, I decided to finish a nursing degree at a community college in the last 2 years, but that's where I started to rack up even more debt. What really sucks is realizing that the majority of these student loans is not from tuition. It's actually from living expenses and living way above my means. My debt comprises of 2 credit cards, 5 federal student loans, and 5 private Sallie Mae loans. I can handle the federal student loans, but when I tell you Sallie Mae is bending me over and not in a way I like, it's actually insane. Sallie Mae is genuinely evil and they prey on young students. And the reason why they take advantage of young students is because they know if you're reaching out to a private loan like that, you genuinely need it. Out of the 5 Sallie Mae loans I have, one of the interest rates that is the highest is 16.28%. The lowest interest rate I have with Sallie Mae is 9.88%. Now, my federal student loans are between 4 and 6%, which I think is manageable. Although I had parents who would tell me what I should or shouldn't do, I never had anybody really sit me down and fully teach me financial literacy. I never had anybody sit me down and really explain to me the scope of what I was doing and what it would look like in the future when I had to pay for it. In the moment, all of the student loans just felt like fake money because they just kept coming and I just kept spending. I don't regret any of the experiences I've had between the ages of 18 and 26 or any of the things that I've done, but I do wish that I managed my finances way better than this. I think what's even more sad is a lot of these student loans were going to rent, which my rent was around $1,200 a month, and that's been consistent over the last 2-3 years. Thankfully, I do have a finance bro as a boyfriend, and he is really great at managing money and managing wealth, and so I am working with him to do a snowball effect. If I snowball all of my loans at the current rates that they are without consolidating them, I can pay all of this off by 2032. It's really sad because I'm excited about starting my first nursing job next month, but at the same time, I know that all of the money I'm making is going to debt. I'm turning 27 this year, and I wish I could be thinking about starting a family or getting married or buying a house, but really, I can't think about anything but paying off this debt. The last thing I would want to do is bring a child into this world while I have debt hanging over my head. So it almost feels like my life is kind of on hold right now, but I feel like it's even more motivation to just pay this off as quickly as possible. It is what it is. What's done is done. And at the end of the day, if you are in your early 20s and you're thinking about taking out student loans, I urge you to reconsider and ask yourself whether or not you really truly need it. If I knew then what I know now, I would tell myself that no experience, no desire, no want is worth the stress that I feel now.
I was an undergraduate student in my first degree in one of the Western world. I tell you, the way the home students spend money, I mean your classmates, the kind of life they live, their lifestyle, you'll be wondering if those people have wealthy parents. Most of them were on loans. They want to live in the most expensive apartments. They want to drive cars. Every weekend or every evening, they're out there hanging out, eating, going to restaurants, expensive places. You'll be wondering what's going on. When you know these people are on loans, phone. This is exactly what she just said. Living your best life, forgetting that the repercussion is ahead. And let me also tell you, some people really see this life differently. Some people don't see the life the way some people see it. To some people, oh, who knows, I'm going to die tomorrow. Who knows, I might not see next year. I might as well use this money as much as I can right now. Some people have that mindset. While they're spending, they don't have any plans of paying back, because to them, tomorrow is not guaranteed. So it does make sense for them to grab the money and spend it right now. So let's say you have that mindset. After spending that money right now and God gives you life, fortunately you live longer, how then are you going to survive that? How then are you going to face that? What I did during my undergraduate days with my friends, if we had a new iPhone out that time, we want to upgrade our phone or want to buy a new one, because then you could go to a store where you bought your phone, pay the extra and upgrade it, or you can buy a brand new one. Go find a job, especially the summer period. Find a job. If you want to buy any gadget, if you want to buy expensive items and you feel like the money you have, that's going to drain a lot of your money, go find a job. Once you get paid, you spend that money on what you want to buy rather than spending what you don't have. It makes no sense to me. How do you people sleep at night? How do you sleep at night?
The moment you've been waiting for, my credit card debt. I have 3 credit cards, one of which is my Apple credit card that I opened up when I got my MacBook. It's just another bill. That, no worries. Then I have my first credit card I ever had. It's literally not where my debt is. I opened up a new credit card from my friend's referral. I spent $5,000 in 3 months. Then we both got an extra 100,000 points. But this credit card translates to $1,000. So in my head, I said, oh my God, this is girl math. I want to upgrade my flight to first class. So it'll basically be free with these points. Okay, cool. So I girl math that, but then I'm like, oh shit, I have to spend $5,000. Fast forward, the 3 months ends in July. However, I spent the $5,000 within like the first month. Okay, so Girly Pop has the points, and this isn't even that bad, but it's bad for me because, like I said in my previous video, I treat my credit cards like debit cards. So if I don't have the money, I'm not buying it. But this was an exception. I'm 30 years old now. I went on a trip to Greece, whatever. The debt on this credit card is $3,540.23. I already paid off a couple of grand before my credit card statement was due, June 15th. So I already paid off, I think it was like $2,600. For that big chunk, I did take it out of my savings because my savings is big enough where I don't have to worry. And I just wanted to make sure that my statement was paid off by the due date. So I had no interest accruing that I would have to pay for in the next statement. Does that make sense? My current balance is $3,540.23. I have currently, that's going to be applied to my next statement, 112,460 points, which translates to $1,124.60. So I subtract that from my balance. With the points applied, I will owe $2,415.63. I have been saving cash outside of my Unbreakable Piggy Bank, knowing that I was going to Greece and I needed a backup stash of cash just in case. So for that, I have $1,400. I'm going to deposit that into my account and pay off some credit card debt. With that applied, I will owe $1,015.63. Now my next credit card statement is due in 4 weeks. So if you divide that $1,015 by 4 weeks, it's going to be about $253 a week that I have to make sure that I can either pay off weekly, or in my head, I just have to think, okay, cool, $250 a week, I can do that. I have some money coming in. I sold some things on Poshmark. I did some TikTok shop, but stay tuned for how I'm going to pay off this credit card. I do my Finance Friday videos. I'm going to tell you what I make, how much I'm putting aside for this credit card bill, and how we're going to attack it. But I just wanted to make this video to let you guys know that you're normal, and normal people have debt, but it's just about how you handle it mentally and like how you're going to plan for your future self. Okay, cool. I hope this maybe helped you in some way, even though I was just talking about myself. Love you. Bye.
I had a $10,000 credit card debt, and now I'm paying off my credit card. Let me tell you how I did it. Long story short, I spent money like an idiot. When I graduated high school, I opened a credit card just to buy a MacBook Pro for college. The credit card limit started at $1,700. I paid it off within 2 years or less. I was a college student, okay? Fast forward to my early 20s, I want to go on a trip with my boyfriend, still my boyfriend, and I decided to increase my credit limit because I had just moved into an apartment and I wanted to go on this trip with my boyfriend. It was my first family trip and yada yada. Increase credit limit $3,000. After doubling my credit limit, I decided to max out my credit card. I did that, and then this continued. Like every time I would keep spending, they would keep increasing the limit, and yeah, because I was making a minimum payment, the limit just kept going up and up and up. But guess what I did? Spend. Because I didn't understand that I shouldn't be spending money that I don't have. No, baby. Fast forward to 2020, I'm still living in my apartment and I get laid off because of COVID. Unemployment only took me so far and I still had to make the rent. So I maybe put 1 or 2 months rent on the credit card. My balance is around $7,000 and I decided to go back to school. I was not granted any financial aid and I don't think I qualified for any scholarships, at least the ones I applied for I never got, okay? So I was paying for school on my own. So some costs went on the credit card, like books and not tuition, but like books, you know? I'm a year into my degree and the balance is like $10,000 at this point, and the minimum payment is something I cannot make. My school payment was more important to me than paying off a credit card. I couldn't afford the minimum payment, so ultimately I just stopped paying. Yeah. So I went to the bank and I said, yo, I cannot do this. I'm not bankrupt, but I can't spend $900 a month for X amount of months just to pay off this debt. Like, what can we do? And she's like, well, we can close your card and what can you pay? And I said, okay, well, I could probably pay like $300 a month. And she goes, okay, $300 a month for this much more months and you'll be paid off. Card is closed. I said, okay, that sounds really good to be true. It was true, bitch, it was. So now, fast forward, I'm paying my credit card off a year and a half early because I aggressively started to pay it down. I would make 2 payments a month, and the second payment was always double, if not triple, the amount the first payment of the month was. I understand that I was very fortunate to have been able to do that, and when I got my tax return, I was fortunate enough to be able to put all of it towards my credit card, which took a huge chunk off of it this year, this past year, like this past month. Now I only have $960 left on the card and I have a minimum payment due in 2 days. But my minimum payment for me that I'm going to put down is $960. No, I didn't give a lot of tips, but I just want people that were in my shoes to know that it is okay. There are resources like going to your bank. Just make sure that they don't consolidate your bills or anything like that, unless you need to. I fully believe in bill consolidation, but I was not in a position that I needed to consolidate. My last tip of advice is do not take this stuff lightly. Your credit matters. Don't pay just because you don't want to or because you can't. Go to the bank, see what they can do. Your debt doesn't define you.
I'm 22 years old and I have $37,515 worth of credit debt. I also have a $7,992 student loan. I also still owe $55,829 on my car. In total, I have about $100,000 worth of debt. If you're anything like me, you haven't made any credit card payments in over 6 months. You have creditors calling you every single day, and you're feeling hopeless. But don't stress out, there's an answer to everything, and you'll get through this, I'll get through this, we'll get through this together. As of today, my credit score is a 498. So join me on this journey to pay off my debts. We'll see how high I can get my credit score. I'm also not here to give financial advice, obviously. I'd probably be the worst person for that, but if you want to watch me tackle this debt, I'll keep my TikTok updated, and yeah.
We have made so much positive progress this month. It's like a world record. Ally, $0 still. We sold my car, that car is gone. Discover card went up a little bit. $7,582.10. Citi card also went up slightly, $670.17. My Snap Finance though, you guys were here with me when we paid that off in full, so that bitch is at 0. My first Upstart loan is at $1414.11. My second Upstart loan is at $7874.69. My Amex card is at $7655.33. 2024 taxes still at $2,100. My Heartland XC went up by like a couple dollars. $6716.27. Last but not least, the killer of all of my joy and all of my progress always, Nelnet, $175,488.59. So that bitch went up by like $900 in interest last month. But total, you guys, that brings my total consumer debt to $34,012.67, which means that I had $728.42 of progress this month. Can you believe it? I'm so excited I could die. From $18 to $728. I feel real good about that. Anyway, we're side hustling my $210,000 for the debt away. So if you are here for the ride, hit follow. And I love you so much. Talk to you later. Bye.
You know what? Okay, I know I'm insane and I know I'm the internet's favorite crash out. What I'm gonna say right now is I'm not paying my debt anymore. What we're doing from this point forward is a debt strike 2025. If I have to do it alone and be insane, I will. I literally will. The fact that we would continue paying our debt, we can't stop paying our rent because that's too crazy. It'll put a lot of people in harm. I'm sick of protesting. It does nothing. I don't want to go to war because look how skinny my arms are. We have to do something. I'm not paying my debt. You can join me on this or you cannot. I'm going to take a picture of, and I'm going to keep records of the debt that I have right now because when the interest rates go up on that, I'm not paying those either, even when they start to meet our demands. And the demands are as such. Abolish ICE. Okay? I want those men home from El Salvador. I don't care. And we need to protect Medicaid. The Department of Education needs to be restored. I want critical race theory in the classroom, period. We need to literally be delusional. I'm going to be delusional right now. I will stand here right now, be delusional, make fun of me all you want. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. And if they don't meet our demands, then what we're going to do is then we're going to stop paying our rent. But for right now, stop paying your bills. Stop paying your debt. We're going to start there. And it's like, what the do I have to, oh, my credit score for the house that I'll never buy? I already am not allowed to rent because I don't make enough money. I have to have a cosigner anyway. So what does my credit score even fucking matter? What does it matter, bro? Literally, what? I want Doge out of office. We're done with him. We're done with him. And free healthcare for all people. I'm so dead serious. Guys, we're done with this.
I just got paid, so let's budget my $549 paycheck. I work part-time at a library, and so my 2-week paycheck was $549. So let's take a look at my checking account and my 4 credit cards to see how much liquid cash I actually have to work with until my next paycheck. That paycheck brought my checking account to $1,255, but now I need to subtract everything that I've spent on my credit cards to see how much money I have left. So I had spent $166 on my MasterCard and $44 on my Discover card. Then on my Amex card, I spent $344, and then on my Chase card, I spent $1,538. I had to take my cat to the vet twice. She is fine now, but we had some very unexpected vet bills, so that is why my Chase card is so high. So if we subtract all of that from my checking account, that leaves me with negative $837. So if the cat visit had not have happened, it would not be nearly this bad. I do have 2 payments from 2 different brand deals coming in, hopefully very soon in the next like 2-ish weeks. So with that, I will be able to like fully pay everything off and be in the positive. So I am not sweating it. Things happen and that's okay. That's why credit cards are there, for emergency expenses. So it's not ideal, but I am not too stressed about it. At least I know where my money is going and what's happening, and I'm aware of the situation. So I will be back next time I get paid to budget that out and see if we are back in the positives.
One time when I was 20 years old, I had about $20,000 worth of credit card debt with CIBC Visa. Hey girl, how are you? And because I was 20 and my brain wasn't fully developed, I'd missed a few payments, quite a few payments. I didn't understand the severity of it. So it got to the point where it was sent to a collections agency, and I was talking to someone older, and I was like, what do I do? Like, it's been sent to collections. And they're like, well, like, you could pay it all off, but it's still going to be on your a negative on your credit report for like 7 years. So maybe just don't pay it. And I was like, what? We could do that? So anyway, so I didn't pay it. And then eventually the debt got sold and sold and sold. And creditors would call me all the time. And I was perfectly nice to them because there's no need to be rude to someone doing their job. But then one day, after about 10 years, I got a call from a guy. And I think his name was actually Chad. And let me tell you, Chad was amazing at his job. Like, if anyone was going to get anyone to pay anything, it was going to be Chad. Not me, obviously. So one day he calls me and he's like, hi, my name's Chad. I'm calling about blah, 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 debt, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm never going to pay it, Chad. Like, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. And he's like, well, you know, we could garnish your wages. And I'm like, but I work for cash, so you can't do that. He's like, well, this could affect your driving license. I'm like, well, or having a car. And I'm like, I don't even have my license. So, like, getting a car is not in the cards for me right now. And I have an apartment and I'm not looking to buy. So there's really nothing you can do. And he's like, yeah. Then he starts going with the moral implications. And I was like, this is good. He's trying, and respect. And so after a while of talking to him, I was like, look, Chad, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I know you work on commission. Big mistake. No, you work on commission, so you get paid when I pay you, right? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, I will never pay you, ever. So you can call me every single day and we'll have this lovely conversation, but you will never get $1 out of me. So you might as well go down the list and go to the next person and try to get that commission. And he never called me. Like, I never got a single call for that debt ever again. And my credit score is 794. So do with that information what you will.
I don't think anyone is speaking against getting a loan. Even the US government owes. The US government still gets loan. The presidents still get loan. So don't feel bad if you are having a loan. If you have student loan, don't feel bad because you did that to better your life. If you took loan or you took your credit card for emergency health issues and all that, don't feel bad for repairs, for paying your rent for a given period of time, because I wouldn't advise anyone to depend on credit card or loan to pay their rent. How long can that sustain you? So if you took your credit card for assisting your life just for a given period of time, I don't think there is anything wrong in doing that. The people I have problem with are those people that are trying to live above their means. Imagine a young girl, a young boy, a young adult wanting to fly first class that you're required to pay $12,000, $8,000, $12,000, $15,000. You're going on a vacation and you want to try first class. Money you don't have, but you chose to use your credit card. Those decisions are the type of decisions I have problems with. Live within your means. If you want something, you work for it. Then let's talk about the jobless people. You have no job. You are depending on your parents to feed you. You are under their roof, but you have a credit card debt of $25,000. What the hell did you do with those money? What did you do with the money? Going for instant gratification will only hurt you on the long run. Think about your future. Even if you don't want to think that far, think about the next 6 months, 1 year. Telling some people to think for the next 5 years is me pushing it too far. Think about the next 6 months, 1 year. And if you're part of those school of thought that think that we shouldn't think about the future, nobody knows tomorrow. Think about tomorrow then. Tomorrow is closer than today. Think about tomorrow. Credit card debt can ruin your life. We heard the other lady talking about how she's not even considering having a family, children, because she does not want to bring those children into this world with that amount of debt hanging over her head. It's definitely going to affect your future. You will end up finding yourself stressed out because you'll be going to a job you don't like, picking up shifts you don't want to do just because you have no other option but to do them so you can pay off your debt. Think about your future. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section, and I will see you all in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you get to do so, and share this video with your family and friends. Bye.